Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Public Health Finance Symposium. I am Cerise Hunt. I'm the director of the Center for Public Health Practice at Colorado School of Public Health. And before, I go into the agenda and go through all the logistics for today, I want to take a moment and thank those who have made today possible. Our planning committee, to pull together our symposia. There's a group of folks that I always recruit to come in. And so could members of the planning committee please stand up? They met monthly. They were, a part of the whole planning, logistics, and all of that good stuff. And can we give them a round of applause? And the whole concept for this symposium originated from CDPHE's Funding and Finance Work Group. And there were some discussions where, we should have a convening to really talk about finance and the future of public health finance and really the history of how our structures are set up. And so that we were contacted, we were like, the School of Public Health, we're like, we'll agree, we can move forward in that aspect. So in November, we had our first meeting, and from that November meeting, we formed, and now we're ready for this symposia. Also, I have to acknowledge the Center for Public Health Practice Advisory Board members. Could members of our advisory board please stand up? They have also been instrumental. Senator Bob Hagedorn, Mark Johnson, Lori Snyder, Lee Thielen have given tireless efforts for this symposium. And then the heart of really launching and moving forward is the Center for Public Health Practice staff and faculty members. Could you all stand up? They're all in the back area, but I do got to give a big hand because they're the ones that handle the registration, set up the vendors, make sure that everything's flowing, respond to emails, just make sure that this process goes by smoothly. So I'm going to quickly go through the agenda, and you should have received the agenda as you were coming in. In the agenda, you're going to have, you'll also notice the bios for all of our speakers. For the sake of time, we will not be reading bios. So we'll just encourage you to read our speakers' information, contact them as well. But to set us up, what we really want to do, and our objective of today, is to really discuss the history and impact of the 2008 Public Health Act, including, what can still be approved. And so you each should have received an email summary. If you're registered, you should have received an email summary of the legislation. And then we want to assess the public funding for public health in the new political context. And then we want to kind of craft a narrative. And this whole idea, craft a narrative for the value, the cost effectiveness of public health that resonates with legislators and the wider public as well. And that's what we're hoping. So the way that we've set this agenda is to really start about the history of the Public Health Act. And then we're going to transition into the accomplishments. And then there'll be a moment of Q&A. And then we're going to kind of hear just from a local perspective, a local public health perspective on challenges current state of funding poses for public health. And then we're going to break for lunch. So we'll have time for lunch. And then we're going to have, during lunch, we're going to have a couple of talks, keynotes around framing the value of public health. This whole framing the value of public health, when we were hearing, because this symposium derived from you all's request. We talked to people in the public health community, kind of see what would you think of the agenda? What are your thoughts? And this whole framing the value, really getting that narrative and the cost effectiveness is something that seemed to resonate with a lot of public health folks. And then the legislators plenary, where we're going to have different legislators come and really talk about their, public health legislation that they've shepherded, but then also what do they need from the public health community in sharing and creating that value around public health. And then to move us along this process, our facilitator today is going to be Drew O'Connor. And so I'm going to ask Drew to come up and introduce himself.
Morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Good. Thanks to Cerise and the team for inviting me in to help out today. I'm very excited to be here. Just a quick word about what I do in the community. My LLC is called Equitable Communities, and I'm really focused on helping organizations build healthy communities, and particularly focused in communities where folks are marginalized from opportunities, particularly structurally marginalized groups in communities. And we do that by working with nonprofits and public agencies that need help with strategic planning, aligning their governance and their resources with their mission and their strategy, and then also working directly in communities doing community organizing, community engagement work. And then lastly, we help out with learning events such as this, helping to plan, facilitate, and even staff sometimes kind of learning networks and conferences such as this. So really pleased to be here today. Before we jump into the meat of the matter, it just seems to me there is a ton of experience and ideas and talent in this room. And maybe, do all of you already know each other? Like, has everybody here already met everybody here? Is that, do you see each other every other week? Is that how it works? Or are there some new faces here for you? So figuring that was probably the case, given there's, probably 75 or 100 folks in the room, we're going to do a little thing called speed networking. And so it's not awkward like speed dating. It's really a lot easier than that. And so what we're going to do is you're going to have 3 minutes, and we're going to do 3 rounds of speed networking. So you have to be kind of strategic about this. You want to kind of look around the room and try to eye somebody up. And I don't want you to go to somebody who you actually kind of see on a regular basis and you kind of already know their deal. All right, look for somebody who maybe you've seen them around before, but you don't actually know them that much. Or it's like, oh, I've been meaning to talk to that person and I haven't had a chance to connect. So you got to kind of look around the room and start to pick your targets. You're going to have 3 chances with 3 different folks. Okay, so start to do that. Eye up the room and pick your targets. Once you've done that, I'm going to give you all the high sign, and we're going to start the timer, and you all are going to talk about these 3 questions, or really just 3 statements. One is just kind of introduce yourself, your name, organization, the work you do. The next is really just talk about together, why you wanted to be here today. What about this particular theme really attracted you to be here today? And then lastly, what's the best thing that you did this summer? Okay? So those are your 3 things that you're going to talk about. You have 3 minutes, so you do the math. There's 2 of you, and there's 3 minutes. You have about how much time each? 1.5 minutes. There you go. Good. Math majors. Way to go. All right. So those are the 3 questions. I'm going to get the timer going. Everybody stand up. Eye up your targets. Okay? And I'm not going to start the timer yet. I'm going to give you a head start to get to your person, and then I'm going to start the timer. So on your mark, get set, go.